You already have the basics down. You shower, you brush your teeth, you try to stay hydrated, so yes, you're doing what you're supposed to do. But there's a quiet difference between simply being clean and having that effortlessly put together presence that feels almost intentional. It lives in the details most people overlook, the subtle habits that don't get talked about but somehow shape the way you're perceived. Hi my loves, welcome to BloomByYou. This is your space to become the best version of yourself, softly, confidently, and at your own pace. And today, we're focusing on the kind of glow that isn't loud or forced, but the kind that lingers. The kind that feels like you take care of yourself without needing to say a word. And before we get into it, I just want to say this gently, there is nothing about you that needs to be fixed. You're already you, and that's already enough. This isn't about changing who you are. It's just about enhancing what's already there and learning small ways to feel a little more refreshed, a little more put together, and a little more confident in your everyday life. Because the goal isn't just to feel presentable. It's to carry that soft, lingering freshness, the kind that follows you quietly. Even on the days when you're running on little sleep or your schedule feels overwhelming, there's still a sense of calm polish that stays with you. And a lot of that starts in the places we tend to forget. So starting from the top, let's talk about an area that's easy to overlook, the space just below your face. It's so common to focus all your attention upward, carefully layering products and perfecting your routine, while everything just beneath it gets the bare minimum. But that space is delicate, more sensitive than you might expect. It holds on to buildup, whether it's from the environment, sweat, or even leftover fragrance. Over time, it can start to look slightly uneven or feel textured, even when everything else looks perfectly maintained. A small shift changes that completely. Instead of stopping your routine at your jawline, let it flow downward. When you're washing your face, just bring whatever cleanser you're already using a little lower. You don't need anything new, just being consistent makes a difference. And every once in a while, you can gently exfoliate that area using something simple, like a soft washcloth, or even just lightly massaging with your fingertips a bit longer than usual. It's not about scrubbing harder, it's about giving that area a little extra attention so buildup doesn't sit there. And then, carry your hydration down. Whatever moisturizer you're already using, bring it down into your neck instead of stopping halfway. If your skin ever feels a little dry, even something as simple as applying a tiny bit more before bed can help smooth things out over time. It creates a kind of continuity, like your routine flows instead of stopping abruptly, and it makes your overall appearance feel more put together without doing anything extra. And once you start paying attention to areas like that, you naturally become more aware of other small imbalances, especially when it comes to your hair. Your scalp is something most people don't think about until something feels off. Maybe your hair gets oily too quickly, or it never quite feels fully clean no matter what you do. And that can be frustrating, especially when you feel like you're doing everything right. But just like your skin, your scalp has its own balance. And when that balance is off, everything else reacts. So instead of adding more and more products, sometimes the best thing you can do is simplify and reset. Start with how you wash your hair. Take your time. Use your fingertips, not your nails, and gently massage your scalp so you're actually lifting buildup instead of just moving product around. Make sure you're rinsing fully, because leftover product can make your hair feel heavier than it actually is. If your hair tends to get oily quickly, try spacing out your washes just a little more over time. It doesn't have to be extreme, just small adjustments can help your scalp rebalance itself. And on the days in between, keeping your hair brushed, neat, or styled in a simple way can make it look intentional instead of rushed. It's not about having perfect hair every day. It's about creating that feeling of lightness and freshness that makes everything else fall into place more easily. And that same idea of being a little more intentional shows up again in your oral care. It's easy to brush your teeth and feel like you're done, especially when you're in a rush. But there are small things that make a noticeable difference, not just in how your teeth look, but in how clean your mouth actually feels throughout the day. Slowing down, even just slightly, and making sure you're brushing evenly can already help more than you think. And then adding something as simple as flossing, not rushing it, but actually taking your time, removes what your toothbrush can't reach. And once you get into that habit, you'll notice your mouth stays fresher longer, which naturally boosts your confidence when you're talking, smiling, or just going about your day. If you ever want a small extra boost, you can use a tiny amount of baking soda with your toothpaste about once a week to help lift surface stains. But keeping it gentle and not overdoing it is important so you're still protecting your enamel. And just like your teeth, your lips play a big role in your overall look, even though they're often overlooked. When your lips are dry, it can make your whole face look a little more tired than you actually are. But when they're hydrated, everything looks softer and more refreshed. Even just applying a simple balm throughout the day or before bed can make a noticeable difference over time. And from there, it naturally brings us to another detail that's easy to forget: your hands. Your hands go through so much every day, and because you're so used to them, it's easy to overlook how they look and feel. But they're one of those quiet details that people notice without realizing it. If your hands feel dry or a little rough, it can take away from that overall polished feeling you're creating everywhere else. So taking a moment to care for them adds to that sense of intention. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just applying hand cream regularly, especially at night, and taking your time to really rub it in makes a difference. Pay attention to your fingers, your cuticles, the small areas that usually get skipped. Over time, your hands start to feel softer, smoother, and more maintained in a way that lasts. And finally, let's talk about a moment that most people rush through without thinking: the few seconds right after you step out of the shower. It's so easy to dry off quickly and move on, but when your skin is still slightly damp, that's when it's most receptive. If you pause there, just for a few seconds, and apply your lotion before your skin fully dries, you're locking in moisture that would otherwise disappear. Even a simple lotion works. You don't need anything extra. What matters is the timing. Your skin holds onto that softness longer, and throughout the day, everything feels smoother and more comfortable. Your clothes sit better, your skin looks more even, and your overall presence feels a little more elevated without extra effort. And as all of these small habits come together, there's one final thing that quietly ties everything in, and that's how you carry yourself. It's in the way you stand, the way you walk, the way you move through your day. You don't have to rush everything. You don't have to shrink yourself. Even just standing a little straighter, relaxing your shoulders, and moving a little more intentionally creates a sense of calm confidence that people pick up on immediately. And that's really what all of this comes down to. None of these habits are dramatic on their own. That's what makes them so powerful. They're quiet, almost unnoticeable shifts that build on each other over time. And before you realize it, there's a difference in how you carry yourself. Something softer, more refined, more intentional, without ever feeling forced. It's never about doing everything perfectly. It's about noticing what most people miss and treating it with care. And if one of these stood out to you, let me know in the comments what you're starting first. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to continue growing into your best self, make sure you're subscribed, and let's keep blooming into who we're meant to be together.